What happened in the next 43 seconds would be replayed over 110 million times, become required viewing in business ethics courses nationwide, and prove that sometimes karma doesn't wait, it strikes the moment arrogance crosses the line. 43 seconds from insult to complete destruction. 43 seconds from smirking confidence to public humiliation. 43 seconds that ended a young woman's career before it even started and exposed her father's company for fraud so systematic it would trigger an SEC investigation costing $83 million. Brittany Caldwell sat at the plaintiff's table like she was posing for Instagram, not facing a judge. At 24 years old, she was the daughter of Marcus Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, a tech company worth $890 million. Her Chanel suit cost more than most people's monthly mortgage. Her Cartier bracelet caught the courtroom lights with every dismissive gesture. She had that particular expression of someone who'd never been told no by anyone whose opinion she valued. She was suing her former roommate, Jasmine Park, for $7,500, claiming Jasmine had stolen design concepts for a startup app. What Brittany didn't mention was that those concepts were actually Jasmine's original code, that Brittany had pitched them to investors as her own, and that her daddy's company had already filed a provisional patent using Jasmine's stolen work. Across from her sat Jasmine, 26, wearing a plain blazer from H&M, clutching a laptop bag that contained 18 months of time-stamped code commits, email receipts, and a paper trail so clear it should have terrified anyone who'd actually reviewed the evidence. But Brittany hadn't reviewed anything. She'd let her father's legal team handle the details. She was just here to collect what she believed she deserved: money, validation, and another story about how she'd built something successful. What Brittany didn't know was that Judge Judy had already reviewed every line of code in evidence, had already traced the GitHub repository timestamps, had already spotted the one catastrophic mistake Brittany's lawyers made when they submitted documents proving their client was the original creator. They'd accidentally included metadata showing all the files were created by J. Park and later renamed by B. Caldwell. Before I show you the 43 seconds that destroyed a CEO's daughter who thought her last name made her untouchable, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from right now. And if you believe arrogance gets what it deserves, or if you've ever seen instant karma in action, smash that subscribe button. What happens next is the fastest courtroom destruction you'll ever witness. Here's how a talented coder ended up fighting a CEO's daughter who thought theft was just networking. 2 years earlier, Jasmine and Brittany had been randomly assigned as roommates in a San Francisco apartment. Jasmine worked as a software engineer at a mid-tier tech company, spending her evenings building a mental health app she believed could help underserved communities. Brittany worked at her father's company in a junior executive role that mostly involved lunch meetings and LinkedIn posts about innovation. For 6 months, they lived together peacefully. Jasmine coded at the kitchen table. Brittany posted motivational quotes about entrepreneurship. Everything was fine. Then Jasmine started showing Brittany her app prototype. She was excited. She thought she'd found a friend who understood the tech world. She explained the algorithm, the user interface, the revenue model, the social impact mission. Brittany seemed fascinated, asked questions, took notes, said things like, "This is genius, and you're going to change the world." What Jasmine didn't know was that Brittany was taking those notes to her father's executive strategy meetings, that she was presenting Jasmine's ideas as her own vision for the company's next product vertical, that Marcus Caldwell was so impressed with his daughter's initiative that he fast-tracked a development team to build it. 3 months later, Brittany moved out to a luxury condo her father bought her. 2 weeks after that, Caldwell Enterprises announced Mindspace, a mental health app with Jasmine's exact interface, algorithm structure, and target demographic. Jasmine saw the press release and felt her stomach drop. She called Brittany. "That's my app. We talked about this for months. You can't just..." Brittany's response was cold. "Ideas aren't copyrightable, Jasmine. You should have filed a patent. This is how business works. If you're upset, sue me." So Jasmine did. She represented herself because she couldn't afford the $15,000 retainer lawyers quoted when they heard Caldwell Enterprises. She compiled every Git commit, every email, every Slack message where she'd shared her work with Brittany. She had 18 months of digital breadcrumbs proving she'd created everything Brittany claimed to own. Brittany's response: she countersued for $7,500, claiming Jasmine had stolen concepts from private conversations and damaged her reputation by falsely claiming credit for Brittany's innovations. It was legal gaslighting. Take the victim's work, accuse them of theft, and bury them in litigation they can't afford. But Brittany made one fatal error. She underestimated Judge Judy's ability to read a Git repository. and she severely overestimated how long her arrogance would go unpunished. Judge Judy opened with surgical precision. Miss Caldwell, you're suing Miss Park for stealing your app concepts. But Miss Park claims she created the app and you stole it. Who's telling the truth? Brittany sighed like the question itself was beneath her. Your Honor, with all due respect, I don't think you understand how the tech industry works. Ideas evolve through collaboration. Jasmine and I brainstormed together. I took those raw ideas and turned them into something viable. She's just upset that I had the connections and resources to actually execute. Judge Judy's eyebrow raised a fraction. So you're admitting you used her ideas? I used concepts we developed together in a shared living space. That makes them joint intellectual property. But I did the real work, pitching investors, securing funding, building the team. She just coded in her free time. Just coded, Judge Judy repeated flatly. Brittany waved her hand dismissively. Look, I don't want to be harsh, but Jasmine is a mid-level engineer. I'm a tech executive. My father runs a $890 million company. We know how to build products that scale. She was playing around with a hobby project. The courtroom was silent. Judge Judy turned to Jasmine. Miss Park, you claim this app was entirely your work. What evidence do you have? Jasmine opened her laptop. Her voice was steady despite her shaking hands. Your Honor, I have every line of code I wrote, timestamped in GitHub from April 2022 to October 2023. I have email drafts of the pitch deck I created in June 2022. I have my wireframe designs from May 2022. All of this is dated before Caldwell Enterprises announced Mindspace in November 2023. Brittany actually laughed. Your Honor, this is absurd. Anyone can backdate files. My father's legal team has already established. Your father's legal team, Judge Judy interrupted, her voice like ice, submitted sworn declarations that you created these materials in 2023. They provided original files as evidence. Did you review those files before they were submitted? I trusted my lawyers to handle the technical details. I don't need to micromanage. Did you review the files? Brittany's confident smile faltered. No, I assumed. You assumed wrong, Miss Caldwell, because those files contain metadata. And that metadata tells me exactly who created them, when, and on what device. Judge Judy turned to her laptop screen. According to the document properties your legal team submitted, every single file was originally created by user J. Park on a MacBook Pro registered to Jasmine Park. They were then modified, not created, modified by user B. Caldwell 7 months later. The color drained from Brittany's face. But here's the truly fascinating part, Judge Judy continued. Your lawyers tried to cover this up by renaming the files and changing the surface-level dates, but they forgot to strip the embedded revision history. So I can see every change, including the comments Jasmine left in the code, including the original file paths from her hard drive, including the automatic backups to her cloud storage. Brittany stammered, someone must have made a mistake. I'll need to consult with who? Your father? The CEO who just filed a patent application using stolen code. Judge Judy held up a document, because I also have the Profather's Company filed in December 2023, patent number 63,594,821, and guess what's in the technical specifications? Line-for-line code that matches Jasmine Park's GitHub commits from 9 months earlier, including, and this is my favorite part, including a comment in the code that says JP, remember to fix this algorithm before launch. Judge Judy looked at Brittany with absolute contempt. Your father's company filed a patent using code that literally has Jasmine's initials and personal notes embedded in it. That's not innovation, Miss Caldwell. That's theft. Federal theft, to be specific, because filing a patent application with fraudulent claims is a criminal offense. Brittany's voice came out barely above a whisper. I didn't know about the comments. I just sent them the app files. You sent them stolen files and claimed they were yours. Whether you knew about the comments is irrelevant. You committed fraud, your father's company committed fraud, and you did it so sloppily that the evidence is embedded in your own legal filings. Judge Judy turned to Jasmine. Miss Park, did you ever give Miss Caldwell permission to use your code? No, Your Honor. I showed her the app as a friend. I never authorized her to take it. Did you ever sign any agreement transferring intellectual property rights? No, Your Honor. Did you receive any compensation for the work Caldwell Enterprises used? No, Your Honor. Judge Judy's expression could have frozen lava. Miss Caldwell, 43 seconds ago, you told me I didn't understand how the tech industry works. Let me tell you what I do understand. Theft, fraud, perjury. and the catastrophic stupidity of a privileged young woman who thought her last name would protect her from consequences. Judgment for the defendant. Your case is dismissed with prejudice. Furthermore, you will pay Ms. Park $50,000 in statutory damages for copyright infringement, plus $25,000 in punitive damages for fraud, plus all her legal costs. Brittany's mouth fell open. I don't have. Your Cartier bracelet alone could cover half of that. Figure it out. Additionally, I am ordering the court to forward all case materials, including the metadata evidence and the fraudulent patent application, to the FBI's Intellectual Property Crime Unit and the Securities and Exchange Commission. You can't. My father's company. Your father's company filed a fraudulent patent and has likely built a product roadmap based on stolen intellectual property. That's securities fraud if they've made any public statements about proprietary technology. The SEC will determine the scope of the violation. Judge Judy wasn't finished. Miss Caldwell, you walked in here with your Chanel suit and your arrogance, and you made a fatal error. You confused wealth with intelligence. You confused your father's success with your own competence. And you thought being a CEO's daughter meant you didn't have to follow the same rules as everyone else. This court is adjourned. Brittany sat frozen. Jasmine closed her laptop, hands still shaking, but this time from relief. 43 seconds from insult to justice. Karma hadn't waited. It had struck the moment arrogance crossed the line into actionable fraud. The clip went nuclear. 110 million views in 18 days. Beta.ly and C.daughter karma trended for a week. Tech ethics professors used it in IP law classes. The FBI opened an investigation within 96 hours. They discovered Caldwell Enterprises had done this before. 6 other junior employee ideas that mysteriously became company products after those employees left or were fired. The SEC investigation revealed Marcus Caldwell had publicly claimed in earnings calls that Mindspace was developed entirely in-house using proprietary algorithms created by our executive team. Stock analysts had used these claims to justify upgraded ratings. When the truth emerged, Caldwell Enterprises stock dropped 34% in one day. Class action lawsuits from the 6 other victims totaled $83 million in settlements. Marcus Caldwell was removed as CEO. Brittany was named in the civil suits and banned from holding officer positions in any public company. Jasmine received her $75,000 judgment. More importantly, she received the patent rights back through settlement. She launched her app independently, secured ethical VC funding, and built a company that now has 2.3 million users. Brittany's LinkedIn profile, once filled with posts about innovation and disruption, was quietly deleted. Her last post, ironically from 3 months before the trial, success isn't given, it's taken. Judge Judy's 43-second countdown is now taught in intellectual property courses as the Caldwell principle. Metadata always tells the truth, and arrogance always speeds up karma. If instant karma satisfied your soul, destroy that like button. Comment Metat wins. If digital evidence just saved the day, just read for more. Next, a startup founder's original pitch that Google Docs version history destroyed. Your files remember, even when you forget you stole them.